I solemnly swear that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Yeah, hi everybody. It's Ron here from The Truth About Addiction. Today we have a special guest, Lyle. Lyle's an associate of mine, friend of mine, who I think you guys will get a lot of good stuff from him. All right, Lyle, it's on to you. I can see your face. God love you. How are you, buddy?
How you doing? Yeah, dropped out for a bit there. So what was that? What are we kicking off with?
Mate, just basically, mate, what's your story? I know you're a recovering drug addict now, but
Yeah.
what was your story as a kid? Your family background and just a little bit of touch base so that the listeners can actually get an understanding of who Lyle is, really.
Yeah, sure. So came middle class family, a loving family, but dysfunctional. Dad was an alcoholic. We didn't want for anything. It wasn't a safe place at times. So when I got to a point in my life where I had an opportunity to get out of there, I got out of there quick. I think I was about 16 or 17 when I first experienced alcohol. Loved the effect of it. I was dysfunctional with it from the start. I can remember the first time that I break up with a girlfriend. On the way home from school, I racked a bottle of alcohol, and I was crying, right? I was sculling the wine, and then I realised as I drank it that, I started feeling pretty good. I was feeling better, things are going to be okay. So my relationship with substances was unhealthy from the start. Schooling was difficult, a difficult time for me. Didn't feel a part of. I was diagnosed with ADD. And I was prescribed Ritalin and then Dexies for a while there. And so I always had that feeling there was something deep-seatedly wrong with me, that I wasn't a part of everything else that was going on around me. I think it was probably the arse end of year 12 was when I first tried some meth. I was sold on it, absolutely fucking sold on it. It gave me everything I needed. It became my everything, It became my identity. I started using heavily. I hung out, we say in recovery, you stick with the strength. I stuck with the strength on the streets, and I had a good few friends that were the same, and we used really heavily all through my 20s. Got towards about my late 20s, and then I was in and out of jail a few times, just little drunk wagons. Then fell in love, and I thought, I'm not going to do this anymore. I want to slow down. Maybe I might just try drinking again. Maybe I might just smoke a few bongs, maybe use just on weekends. That was unsuccessful too, and I never really got anywhere in life. I couldn't hold down a job. I couldn't control myself when I was drinking. I was a liability. My behaviour would escalate, and I'd switch drugs. I'd say, all right, I'm not going to drink anymore. I'd get back on the gear. I'd use gear for a period of time until I'm back in the watch house and doing crime again, and then I'd switch it, try something else. I don't know about you, Ron, but I never thought I didn't really know that I had what the problem was until I really wanted to stop. When I really knew that I had a problem. What about you? What stage of your life when you were like, okay, I want to stop? Did you give it a crack to stop?
Mate, I started using 1974, I started injecting heroin. By 1977, I was in my first detox. Within 3 years, I knew that I was fucked, but I didn't know that, there was no 12-step programs. There was very little to do with any sort of rehabilitation. They put you in a detox. They'd physically detox and they'd throw you out the door and say, just stop.
Yeah.
But I couldn't stop because I hated the way I felt. That's why I took drugs to begin with. So as soon as you take them out, I'm still got the problem.
And you're left with your thinking.
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah, you're left with the problem. Like for me, flash forward like 20 years, and there was an incident. It was a build-up, like I'd been using heavily again on the gear, and I decided to pull the plug on that.
On the heroin?
No, on that meth, yeah?
On the meth?
Yeah. I was trying to sort of taper off and doing other stuff at the same time, and drinking, and there was an incident, you know what I mean? And it fucking, it was horrible. I said, fuck it, this is not happening anymore. And I truly, in every fibre of my being, Ron, I was like, I'm not going to do it anymore. You know what I mean? And I had, I was lucky enough that it was tough for them, but I had a loving, my mum and dad loved me, and my sister, and I had a partner at the time too. And they were like, oh, well, it looks like he's telling the truth. He's honest. He doesn't want to do it anymore. He's not going to do it anymore. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I think I lasted about 3 or 4 months and just left with no solution, with the disease of addiction untreated. Fuck, I went totally nuts.
Yeah.
I was resentful. I couldn't get to where I wanted to go as quickly as I wanted to go. Everyone around me weren't acting the way that I believed that they should be acting. The day came, the day came where it was like and I remember looking at it, and it started always how it used to always start for me. It started with a drink, and I was looking at that schooner, and I was like, oh, this is not going to end well. I was like, it's not going to end well, but I was like, it's anything is better than the pain that was going on in my head. It was fucking just this constant, like going on untreated. And I spoke about it before, and I realised it more at 2.5 years. It mimics depression, untreated addiction. It's just this darkness if it's not treated, So I craved relief. I drank again. And that kicked it off, and that spiraled me into probably the most torturous 2.5 years that I've ever experienced. It just pits of hell, and I believe that's when there was a higher power there, and I think truly, because I was a pretty horrible shit sort of man the majority of my life. I should be dead, but I believe that the reason I think God continued to apply the pressure because he felt that my work could be done somewhere else, possibly in recovery, Those last 3 years it was horrid, what I mean? I couldn't stop. Every day was the last day I was going to use, and then I'd use again. It was a painful experience, in and out of detoxes as well, and I just managed to actually just string a little bit of a succession of things happened, and it felt like the planets had aligned. I got myself into a rehab, and I spent 6 months there. That's where it started. You know what I mean? I think that's where it definitely. Like I suppose it started when I first realised that I didn't want to do it anymore, and then busted, and then I came in there absolutely willing, Ron. Willing to change. Yeah. Were you like that in your first recovery, just willing? And did you think you were never going to drink or use again?
Yeah, you've got to have the willingness. Without willingness, we've got nothing. You know what I mean? They say, we've got to have a desire to stop using. We've got to have a willingness to have a go. But like you said earlier on, the thing I related to what you said was the pain of using was so great that getting clean was going to be fucking easy, really. Because I just hated using every day against my own will, waking up every day and thinking, not again. And that night I'd go, I'm not using anymore. I'm over this. The next morning I'd wake up and be like, oh my God, who let the dogs out? Oh, fucking horrific, mate. I hated it. Oh, and I hated myself. The self-hatred that we have when we're in active addiction, using with information, is unbelievable. How many times I just thought, I hope I don't wake up tomorrow.
Yeah.
I really hope I don't wake up, Then you wake up, and then it'd be like someone's just threw a monkey into my brain, My brain would be mixed and be crazy. And, if I had emotions, like real human emotions, which I didn't have at that stage, I'm sure I would have just sat down and cried for weeks on end, I was that broken.
Oh, I can relate. That was... that was those last few weeks of using, that was fucking, mate, I did a lot of crying. I was fucking, I was an emotional wreck. Coming into recovery, I was like, okay, I want to be here. I'm willing. I got to about 2 years, and you one of you speak about story that you were in that big house down the Goldie. You had your cats there and the missus and you had everything and you were just feeling like you wanted to die. You know what I mean? That story that you were talking about. Like I got to about 2.5 years clean and I just wasn't treating my addiction. You know what I mean? Yep. I just wasn't treating it with the steps or something with a solution. And I was bedridden, absolutely bedridden with it. And lucky enough that I got stuck into it again. And that's when the true freedom sort of really kicked into gear. And that's when everything else just sort of falls into place. Yeah.
Yeah, man. 100%. Look, I never got the light. I mean, really, really got the light until I was 16 years clean.
Mm.
And then one day, some circumstances again, I got arrested and I'm sitting in a cell at 16 years clean, multi-millionaire, thinking, fuck, man, what have I done?
Mm.
I told you about the dream I had when I died and I went to wherever you go. And have I told you that story?
Yeah, it's a ripper, but yeah.
Yeah, and the big guy upstairs said to me, you don't get it, do you, Ron? Because I was justifying all the crime and violence. He said, you wasted the gift of life, the greatest crime that man can commit. And even in recovery, I was doing that. I was wasting the gift.
Mm.
And my life turned around, and I've been helping people ever since. That's 20 years ago. It was in 2002. And I had a spiritual awakening. And, for that last 20 years, I've carried the message to the addict who still suffers. And I try to be a good human being to the people on the street and to the cat that's walking across the road and the little grasshopper that's sitting on my plant.
Yeah.
If I don't want him on my plant, I'll take him off and put him over somewhere else.
Yeah.
I just don't squash him anymore,
Yeah. I get it.
Because I squashed everything.
Yeah.
Human, animal, fucking dreams, desires, hopes. I squashed everything. I was a squasher.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a new name. I can be called the squasher.
The juicer.
Yeah, the squisher. Yeah. If it's plural, it's the squisher. Yeah, mate.
Oh, mate. But I get it.
The reason I asked you to come on my podcast is because, mate, I love your fucking passion towards recovery. I love your fucking excitement. I've known you a few years now, and it's always the same. I always look forward to seeing you. No matter what's going on in your life, mate, you haven't got your head up your ass going, oh, woe is me, I'm fucking doing it tough. Big deal. Big deal. We have bad days. We have bad moments. So what?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, thanks, Ron. And likewise, you've held the torch for me, and we've got a special bond. I've felt like that from the start.
Yeah, mate. There's an empathy there that we know where each other's cried and where each other's died,
Yeah, man. Yeah. We've found our sort of, we found our tribe for sure. And like getting back to that, the grasshopper on the, just letting the grasshopper be. And it's, it's funny, I'm changing as a man through the work that we do in recovery, particularly powerful. It's a spiritual experience. And it's just, for me, it started with a shift in perspective.
100%, yep.
That's all it was. And then it just grows. And I know fuck all at the moment. I'm still early days, but I know a hell of a lot more than I did 2 years ago. You know what I mean?
We say it's still early days, but every day is the day.
That's it.
Yeah. We only have today, the guys go to me, oh, I'm only 7 days clean. I say, mate, you know how long it took you to get 7 days clean? Maybe 10 years.
Yeah.
Please don't say I'm only 7 days, because you're fucking underestimating the gravity and the wonderment of what you've achieved, 7 days was a lifetime for me once.
Oh, mate, just wasn't going to happen. Yeah. And I used to tell myself stories about why I'll do it later on and it'll be okay. I'll start tomorrow.
Yeah.
All that. Oh, yeah. It's definitely been the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah. I always say, I've got a philosophy that says one day or one day.
Yeah.
One day will you get clean or will you be one day clean,
Yeah.
Because if you're going to be one day clean, you're actually doing something. If you only get clean one day, you're procrastinating. As I always say, procrastination and masturbation are the same thing. You're fucking yourself. There's no half measures in this recovery shit. There's no mate.
It fails with nothing. Yeah.
A lot of people don't get tomorrow. A lot of people die. This fucking disease kills us.
Oh yeah.
I did an interview with a young girl. She's 23 years of age, and her father was a mate of mine. He didn't get clean. He died at 70, still shooting heroin. A guy that I knew for fucking 40 years. And really intelligent, came from a great family, a middle-class family, never got clean, brother. He'd have periods of time. He didn't surrender. He didn't find a higher power, and he didn't find a fucking loving God as I understand him, and everyone knows, my higher powers just love and understanding and forgiveness, I don't have to put a name on him. I've tried them all, I went all around the world looking for higher powers, and India, and fucking, read every bit of literature, I think, for every religion, and it came back to the God within myself.
And you're spot on. And that's exactly what any big spiritual leader, if you would have asked Jesus Christ over in Bethlehem thousands of years ago, he would have said the exact same thing.
Yeah.
He's like, God is love, mate. God is love.
Yeah. I went to Bethlehem, remember?
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I went there about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I went to Israel and walked the path that Jesus walked, and I went to where he was crucified. I actually slung one of the security guards to let me ride in to where he was crucified.
Oh, wow.
And
stuff. What, is there an energy around that place?
Oh, mate, there's a massive energy around. It's the most holy place in the world, because all the biggest religious synagogues and churches in the world are in the 1 square area, 1 mile area, like the biggest fucking Muslim, the biggest Sikh, the biggest fucking every religion. They've got all this 1 big mile area. There's got all these massive big buildings,
Wow.
The energy is unbelievable. You know what the really funny part is about, Lyle?
Yeah.
I'm walking through the path. There's all stations. I can't remember if there's 5 or 17. It was some number of stations where they gave him water and where he got hit and all that shit. And I was walking through there and I was chanting Hom Mani Padme Hum, which is Buddha grant me compassion.
Yeah.
And I realised that I'm not a Christian. I'm a spiritual person. Because that was only 6 years ago. I was still, and I'm 36 years clean. I was still searching, because I'll never rule out anything. I've got an open mind.
Yeah.
But it was such a spiritual experience to go there and do that. Same as when I read the Quran, and I've read the Bible, inside and out, because, you sit in jails. When I started going to jail, the only book in the cell was the Bible.
Yeah.
So you get, if you're not using it to roll joints or roll cigarettes, the Bible pages, because we didn't put newspapers, I'd roll cigarettes out of Bible pages.
Yeah, we used to do that at school. Yeah.
I used to roll me joints out of the Bible papers, because I couldn't get a packet of papers in the jail.
Bastards to stay together, but work well.
But mate, so, the God that I looked for all those years was always inside of me. And I found that through our programs, I found that by having an open mind and listening to the older guys that have been around before me. And, I had a mate who died, he was 62 years sober in a 12-step fellowship. And he used to say to me all the time, Ronnie, as long as you have a good heart, you don't need religion. And I remember when I went to the Buddhist temples, a little Geshe, he's now a Lama, he was my teacher. And we became friends. It was really funny because I was on some really heavy serious charges.
Yeah.
I was going back to jail when I was 16 years clean. And he married my wife and I did the up here at Chenrezig. And,
wow. Yeah.
And he was really little guy, little Tibetan guy, like, laughing all the time, tiny little man. And one day we're talking and he says to me, you don't believe in religion, do you, Ron? I went, no. And he went, smack me right across the face. And I looked at him and he went, when you have a good heart, you don't need religion. And he went, and he giggled and he laughed. So when he married me, he did my ex-wife's vows, her and my vows in the Buddhist way.
Yeah.
So me being the smart prick I am, because you're not allowed to give him money, I had to give him a gift. I gave him a framed photograph of my back, and I got the Jesus Christ crucifixion on my back.
Jesus. Yeah.
So I gave him the photo of Jesus as a present, and he started laughing because that was the relationship we had.
Yeah.
And he said, I believe in Jesus. He said, I believe Jesus was a good man. He said, I believe Jesus was a good man, and I believe he had a good heart, and I believe he wanted to help people. He said, I never met anyone who met God. He just stopped. That was it. It was the end of the conversation. He said, I never met anyone who met God. Because what he was saying was the God was made up by men. Jesus was a man.
Yeah.
And the Buddha was a man. And he said to me once, he said, the difference between Buddhism and a lot of Catholics and that, he said, a Buddhist doesn't care if you're a Catholic. He said, where a Catholic cares if you're a Buddhist.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
And I started laughing, but it was really funny how, all those years later that I had 20 years of soul searching over the last 20 years. And I found out the God that I was looking for all those years was inside me the whole time.
Oh, that's right.
And it was just it was such a revelation. It was such a freeing, comforting feeling to know that all those years when I felt like there was something protecting me, there really was something protecting me. Because we should be dead.
Oh, yeah, man.
Now, I don't know about you, but there was times that I mixed up chemicals where I knew it wasn't gear, but I still put it in my vein.
Oh, mate, multiple times. Yeah, I was, yeah. Oh, most definitely. And that's why I believe, like, as I said before, that, and that's why I love this stuff as well. And if I just keep doing this stuff, I believe that everything will fall into place. You know, I feel like that I will be taken care of if I just keep, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know it sounds religious, but it's not at all. If I just keep doing my best, that's his work. And for me, that's just to think of others. Maybe pick the phone up, give someone a call. How lucky am I to be in recovery, right?
Yep.
That I can, there's so many people that they fucking, you know what I mean? They like a lift somewhere or they wouldn't mind a chat. Like that's what's the great thing about recovery. We've got like this open pit of people that we can help, you know? Definitely with religion. I think it's important, and I found that up through going through the steps. It's important to actually find from all religions where a lot of them have some really cool stuff, you know, and ways to get closer to God. You know what I mean? And no one's to be, and that's recovery taught me that also, to be open-minded around things.
They talk about it all the time, being mindful. I didn't even understand what it meant, but now I understand what mindfulness means, you know. It's being aware of other people.
Yeah.
You know, my mate in Los Angeles, and I say this a lot, you know, he tattoos everybody. You know, he's tattooed Charlie Sheen, Roseanne, fucking the Motley Crue. He went on tour with them, you know, like he's tattooed some of the greatest stars, that hockey player, the Canadian hockey player. He's like the number one he was, you know. And Greg's got on top of his door the Sunset Strip tattoo. He's got a sign that says, people who are wrapped up in themselves make small parcels. I love it. And everybody that comes through that door, because they're all Hollywood stars and the top of the tree, are all wrapped up in themselves. And they all look and they go like, well, that's cool. They don't even know what it means because they've got no conscious contact with themselves.
Yeah.
Because our program has taught us to have a conscious contact with ourselves.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And we had to get that because we took drugs to numb that conscious contact because we didn't cope with it. You know that movie, what's his name? Jack Nicholson's in it. He goes, you can't handle the truth.
There's a few good
Dogs
men.
and a Gentleman.
Oh, is it? Yeah, one of those.
Well, that was me. I couldn't handle the truth.
Oh, yeah. Oh, same. And I'm still realising it now. I had a couple of mates that used to call me Denial.
Yeah, well, you see my number plate.
Completely. And I was completely in denial from the beginning. I didn't even think that I was I didn't think I was a crim or anything. You know what I mean? I just thought I was just a guy that just got shit done, and occasionally, you know, from time to time, had to grab something that was for the cause.
Just a good bloke having a bad trot.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. It's certainly a gift, mate. And the life that I have today.
What is your life like today, brother?
Oh man. Okay, so at the moment I'm learning. I'm learning how to dance salsa. So I'm down at the salsa club.
Good.
Occasion, yeah, giving that a crack.
Oh, swivel hips.
Yeah. So, but it's things like that. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't be doing anything like that if I'm not working the steps. You know what I mean? And seeing it for what it is. You know what I mean? Like buckling myself and being so full of fucking fear and not going into a place like that because of I'm relying on my mind. That's how I used to be. Because of the steps and everything that I do, I'm able to say, fuck that. No, it's just, I'm listening to my head. My head's no good.
Yeah.
And replace it with some sort of spiritual principle and get in there. And because of that and pushing through that, you know, I've got a great life, you know. I've got a career now, you know, I'm involved in a business I'm a good employee. I'm a good brother, you know, I'm a great brother, you know.
Nice.
And a good son. I'm a reliable son. My relationships with my friends as well. I can allow my like they're healthy. You know, I can be a good friend. I can allow people to be where they're at. Only if I'm doing this stuff, I can still have my times where I'm a bit off caliber, but not calibrated. But I come back to it. I know this is the solution for me, Ron.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I know this is the solution. Like it was, my life truly was. It was painful, and I was just baffled with it. Really, fucking baffled with it. I couldn't understand how people could do life, you know, and be a part of it, you know. And I used to be pissed off about it at the beginning, and then I was just completely baffled, and I couldn't understand how people got on with their lives and had healthy relationships and had careers. I just did not feel a part of that, but I wanted to be. You know, it just felt like my self-worth was just, all that stuff just falls into place, doesn't it, really?
Yeah. I know for me, I felt like I didn't get the how-to guide.
No.
You know, I just didn't get the guide. I actually swear to God, when I was a little kid, I used to think I was dropped off on the wrong planet.
Yeah.
I think whenever the stork brought me, he fucking dropped me off the wrong joint, you know?
Yeah.
It might have been called birth, not earth. You know, he fucked it up, you know. His GPS was out, mate, because I didn't have the living skills that all the other kids at my school had.
Yeah.
I didn't have them. But when I found heroin, I had them.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I had them, mate. I swear to God, I thought, oh, my God. How long? Because I was 19 before I had my first injectable heroin.
Yeah.
And before that, I really didn't take, you know, I was a criminal and I was in prisons and all that. And I'd shot up like actual in prison. But, yeah, when I found heroin, intravenous drug use was like, oh, fuck, yeah. You know?
Oh.
And my mate said to me, just drink or just smoke pot. I said, mate, it's like driving a Ferrari, then going back and driving a Volkswagen. I said, I can't just smoke pot or just have a beer, you know. Didn't interest me. Didn't interest me whatsoever, mate.
Oh, yeah.
I used to say, if you can't put in a syringe, I don't want it.
Yeah.
Because I wanted instant gratification.
Oh, yeah. It was a love affair that kicked off and ended up being just an abusive shit relationship that fucking beat me.
Addiction itself is one of the most lying, thieving, cheating disorders known to mankind. It's the only disease that tells you there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the sad part is, and the reason we're doing these podcasts today is because we want people to know that just because you're a drug addict doesn't mean you're born with horns, doesn't mean that you're a bad person. We're capable of doing bad things, but so is everybody. You know, fucking, there's a lot of people out there doing a lot worse stuff than drug addicts are doing. You know, people out there killing their fucking own wives and children. And they've got, you know, what's their excuse? You know, like, you know, we have an ailment, an affliction that we're learning today that there is a way of treating it, but it's not a moral issue or a fucking, you know, a sinister issue. It's a bloody health issue, you know, and it's a mental health issue. We have to really address it, and we have to get the word out there that, you know, just because we're an addict doesn't mean that we're an animal. You know, we've done animal things, but so is everybody else. You know, like, stop labeling us and stop trying to say that, oh, this is why he did it. No, he didn't do it because of that. He did it because he has a problem with his thinking.
Yeah.
I believe it's a thinking problem. I don't believe it's a drug problem.
Nah. If it was a drug problem, all you'd have to do is just stop using and you'd be fine.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And as we both know, once you stop using, that's when the games begin.
Oh, that's when it kicks off.
Yeah.
That's when it kicks off.
Yeah. That's when the games begin. You stop using, and that's when the games begin, mate. Like, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Strap yourself in, motherfucker, because we're going for a ride.
Yeah, that's where it just comes through. Do the steps or die, man. You know?
Yep.
It's definitely a solution to our thinking. Yeah.
Well, I love the fact that, we are the blessed ones. I don't use the word lucky. The harder I work, the luckier I get.
Yeah.
The harder I take care of other people, the less I think about myself, which gives room for my higher power to create his magic.
Yeah.
Because I believe that. I believe, well, I'm out of myself, my higher... Because otherwise I've got my hands in the way and he can't get in there.
Yeah,
It's like trying to knead dough and you got fucking 4 sets of hand in the bowl. Get your hands out of the bowl and let the baker do his job,
Yeah.
That's his job, My job's to fucking try to help other people.
Yeah. Yeah. Stop fucking with the recipe. He knows what he's doing.
Exactly. And I believe, like the gift of my recovery has been that I have the clarity to accept the things I cannot change and the courage to change the things I can and the wisdom to know the difference. And the wisdom to know the difference is the most important part. Mate, there's a reason you're alive.
Yeah.
And there's a reason I'm alive, and it's just to carry this message.
Oh, I feel that, and I get that.
Yeah.
And I have moments, right, where particularly when I'm doing some recovery work with another, and that's where I've had those full blown Eckhart Tolle moments. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I might step out the backyard and I'll be there with the birds amongst the trees, and I'll be like, holy shit.
Yep.
I'm just fucking, I'm right here, I'm right now. Finally, I'm doing something with my life. I'm a man of substance, and I'm here. Yeah, definitely, mate.
It's an incredible journey, mate. And as I said, we are the blessed ones. And I believe we have an obligation to carry the message to the people of the world that there is a way out. You don't have to die a junkie.
No.
You don't have to die a junkie. You don't have to die a scumbag. You don't have to die in prison. You don't have to stick some fucking rotten chemical in your body to change the way you feel. You can change the way you feel by changing the way you think.
Yeah.
And it just takes practice. It just takes time.
Yeah.
And if you've got a good mentor, I call them spiritual advisors. I've had the same spiritual advisor now for 36 and a half years.
Yeah. And it's so important, isn't it, Ron? Yeah, I've been lucky with a good mentor at the moment for the last few years as well. Since then, everything has just been, it's just so important to have a second set of eyes on your life, particularly if, when you're suffering from our mental ailments. I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it otherwise, And I can't do it, like we speak about God and that, I can't do it with just me and God either. I need to be talking to someone about what's going on.
Yep.
That's definitely part of it. I can't fix my thinking with my thinking.
No, exactly right. I say it all the time. You're going for a fucking answer into your own brain, but Romy, that's where the question was asked.
Yeah.
So if you had the answer, you wouldn't have the question. Like, come on, it's not rocket science, It's not rocket science. It's just simple humility to say, I don't know, I need help, I'm wrong. And that opens the door for a power greater than yourself to restore you to sanity.
Yeah, and it's just a shift in perspective, isn't
exactly.
It?
And people think, the power greater than yourself. You're talking about God. No, I'm not talking about God. I'm talking about another human being, because God doesn't talk to me. Not since I stopped taking amphetamines. He used to talk to me all the time. Run! They're out there. Look, they're out there. See that tree's behind the trees. Look at the shadow. Yeah. I don't lay under the floor looking under the gap of the fucking door all night anymore. Thank fuck. Yeah. Remember those nights?
Oh, mate. Oh, most definitely.
Fucking hell. Laying on the floor watching fucking ghost feet walk past the door.
Oh, mate. Yeah, surveillance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
it.
mate.
I was on a roster, always working nights. Up in the back trees at the fucking... Oh, it was a nightmare. Yeah.
Geez, I missed that.
Yeah.
Like a water on the end of your doodle.
Yeah. But yeah, but what a relief. And just touching on what you said before about how if there is anyone out there that is listening and that think there's something wrong with them, you know, I just got such a relief to realise, and I found out in the literature and in the rooms that there wasn't. I thought there was something morally wrong with me.
Yep.
You know, I really did. You know, because particularly when I had started making the decision I didn't want to use anymore, and then I fucking use again, I was like, oh fuck, well, you really are a shit cunt. You know what I mean? You should be able to stop this, shouldn't you?
Yeah.
And so I walked in thinking, oh, God, there's something seriously wrong with me. And, you know, it's funny. I never really thought that I was an addict either, but I had a mate that got clean through the rooms, and I saw that. And I saw him get clean, right? And I saw his life change dramatically. And I was like, I'll go there because I know that if I go there, I'll stop. Yeah. And then it was over time in the literature, in the rooms and everywhere else that I realised I was an addict. I was like, oh, that penny's dropped. I realised that once I had one, I activated the craving, and the more I took, the stronger the craving and the cycle of it all. It was a relief because I was like, oh, finally, there's a solution around it. And I thought all I've got to do is what's been suggested.
Yeah, 100%.
And then I'll be fine. I was like, what a relief, because I thought I was fucked. You know, there was no solution for me. You know,
Yep.
No solution.
Geez, I relate to that, mate.
Yeah.
I thought I was morally fucked up. I thought I was just I thought I was broken.
Mm.
I did. I thought I was irreparable, and I thought that's what I was, not what I'd become. Because I wasn't born a fucking lying thief and junkie. That took years of practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wasn't born like that. I became that. And it's taken years of practice to get me back into being a human being. And a human being, I believe, is somebody looking after other humans.
Yeah. Oh, definitely, man.
There's a difference between being a human and a human being. Because there's a lot of human takers out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, definitely, man.
You know?
Definitely.
And I think, you know, our world, all of us could work a program that we cared about other people. I mean, you know, if you look back in time, and, you know, I love music, and every single deep person that's been into rock and roll or blues or jazz says the same thing. All you need is love.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Love of oneself will create love to others.
Yeah.
But we have to learn to love ourselves first.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that's a skill, I think, that's developed over time.
For me, my mentor loved me long before I loved myself. And he loved me back into loving me. And since then, I've been able to be a good dad and a good husband, a good friend and a good human being, you know?
Yeah.
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 And it's only a daily reprieve, mate. Some days I'm not the greatest husband in the world. I'm a lot better than what I would have ever been using it. Well, I wouldn't have been a husband. No woman would stay with me the way I was, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I had a few hostages, but they were taking drugs as well, so they weren't really a relationship. It was more of a, you know, is it called the Stockholm Syndrome, where the captive starts to fall in love with you?
They fall in love with the...
Fell in love with my gear, you know? Most of my girlfriends were using addicts. Well, all of my girlfriends were using addicts when I was using.
Yeah.
And I was just a good supplier.
Yeah.
Not the smartest man in the world, but I knew that I wasn't attractive and I wasn't doing that well when I fit into a size 6 ladies' pants. And I was wearing size 6 ladies' jeans, you know, so that's about a 23-inch waist or something.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and now I run around about 90 kilos these days. I was about fucking 40.
Yeah.
You know, so
living so well. It's because you're living well.
Living well. I mean, looking in the mirror thinking I was going great. And saying, what are you talking about? I'm fucking cruising. I'm just really cut.
Life.
Yeah, I'm cut. Yeah. Oh, mate, it's a horrible disease. As I said, it's the only disease that tells you there's nothing wrong with you. Every other disease known to man, they go, oh, this is what's wrong with you. We can treat this. They go, you're a junkie. Get the fuck out of my surgery. Like, wait a minute. Now, I remember going to psychologists and psychiatrists and them stopping halfway through an interview and saying, I can't help you.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't have a clue, mate. They didn't have a clue. And you know what? They still don't. I'm sorry to say it. Because I have clients who I deal with, young kids who have been a psychologist and psychiatrist, and they can't get 5 days up, mate. And they come to me, and after a couple of months, they're talking about going back to school. They're playing footy with their mates, and their life's starting to get back on track. You know,
Yeah.
And they're 17 years of age. Like, come on, you know, like let's not throw the fucking baby out with the bathwater.
Oh, mate, I get it. Yeah. I think what happens if once you've done a couple of rounds of the steps, or you've got a firm understanding of it, like the growth that happens in that human is without parallel. It's like it's worth 10 years of psychiatric work.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because it takes them years to be able to tell a client that they're just being self-centered and they're telling them some fucking stories.
And
they don't want to hear it because they're just stuck. They want to be the victim.
You're telling their head's a liar. They go, wait a minute, no, I'm intelligent. I think everything through. No, you don't think anything through.
Yeah, yeah.
If you thought it through, you wouldn't pick up.
Yeah, yeah.
What, you think to yourself, oh, fuck, maybe I'll have a shot of whatever my drug of choice is, or a smoke or a pill or whatever, and I'm going to end up my family hating me and not trust me because I've ripped them off emotionally, physically and spiritually. And they're going to end up destitute on the street and homeless. Oh, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Well,
it's not going to. It's happened like that all the other time. It's just not going to happen like this time.
Yeah, it's going to be different this time. It's going to be different this time.
Yeah, I've got it all planned out.
You know, I've had people say to me about my tattoos, you know, because I've got the full bodysuit, like, oh, did you get used to the pain? I say, mate, if I punch you in the nose every day for the next 3 years, do you reckon you're going to get used to the pain? No, you don't get used to the pain. But you know it's coming. That's the insanity of this disease.
Yeah.
You know it's coming, but you still make the same mistake expecting different results.
Oh.
That's the big one for me. That was the big one for me. I used to know, and sometimes because I had such a low self-worth, I'd still choose to do it, knowing what the outcome was going to be because I hated myself so much.
It's a form of self-harm.
I 100% agree with that, mate. I've said that for years. It is a form of self-harm. It's like slashing up.
Yeah.
I used to judge people that slashed up, and then I say, I don't understand that. And then I look back at myself, and I was like, I was slashed up emotionally and spiritually every day.
Oh, mate, yeah, I was broken.
No, mate, look, you know, we are, as I say it all the time, we're blessed, mate. We're fucking blessed, you know. And I don't even question it anymore. I used to question how come we get it and so many people die and all that stuff. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I think
the planets align, Ron. I really do, you know. And it's fucking. Sometimes it's sad, and I don't get it, and I don't understand it, and I tell a lot of people, I'm like, just fucking don't take it for granted and hang on to the seat. Like you pick up again, and the planets may not align like they did the last time, and it's so much harder to be back in that spot because I know for me anyway, substances as soon as they hit my system, it reacts differently for me.
I'm allergic to it.
Yeah,
Simple.
Yeah, I'm fucking. Yeah, it's like it's just fucking. It's on.
Yeah, every time I shoot up heroin, I break out in handcuffs.
Yeah. You know? There's going to be a change. That's it, you know.
And you know what, mate? I cannot guarantee my behaviour once I put a chemical in my body. So why would I want to do that?
No. Yeah.
No, mate.
But that's what the gift of recovery is that if you do the work, you're not reaching for that shit anymore. You know what I mean? I'm feeling better today, right? And the majority of the time, like 85 to 95% of the time, I've got what I was looking for, right, from the bottle or the fit.
Yeah,
truly. And that's no word of a lie. No. This is how I wanted to feel. I wanted to feel like this, Ron, you know?
I'm not the brightest bloke in town, but if this wasn't better than using, I'd still be using.
Yeah.
Because of my nature.
Yeah.
You know, because I am a self-gratifying sort of guy, you know, and I like nice things and I like to feel good. So if this wasn't better than using, I would be using. It's that simple. It's not rocket science, you know. It's really not, you know. Mate, I really, really appreciate you coming on the podcast with me, mate.
Oh, thanks for having me, Ron. Yeah.
Mate, it's been wonderful. When I started this podcast, you know, I thought you were one of the first people that came to my mind. I thought, I want to get Lyle on and have a chat with Lyle because, mate, I love what you got.
Thanks, Ron.
enthusiasm for recovery is fucking brilliant, and your willingness to give to anybody who wants help, is a testimony to your character, buddy.
Thanks, mate.
I solemnly swear that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.